Hello, hello, hello. Ron and I are back to preview the Independence Day, July 4th away game at Dallas. And we were away last year at RSL, and we got a point, and it was the only point we got in July. So I'm hoping that this July is much, much better than last July. And that's all I really have to say. Tonight, obviously, Ron, City Soccer Talk, is with us as every week. And FCD correspondent is Renato from Dallas Diablos Radio. They do a podcast. So, Renato, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your podcast, and where anybody who sees this video could find you guys on social media?
Yeah, sounds good. How are you doing? Thank you for having us, actually.
Of course.
We are a podcast based in Dallas. It's us, a group of friends that we all started going together to the FC Dallas games. And, man, every time we get together, we start talking about soccer, talking about FC Dallas and all that. And my friend here, Gabe, who's actually the moderator and the guy that kind of started out all this group, he decided to get us all together and, start talking about soccer and do this podcasting. And it's been going on fairly well.
All right. And you guys they're Dallas Diablos Radio. So
Yes.
With that said, I found them from the MLS when they printed out a list of all the podcasts. I was reading through it for people I haven't worked with, and I saw you guys, so that's how I found you guys. Anyways, with that said, we'll jump right in, and Ron, I'm going to let you go first tonight. Tell us whatever kind of random thoughts you're having about Orlando City and who you expect to see in the starting 11 for the Dallas game.
Well, last week I said Orlando City was about as average of a team as there is in MLS, and I mean that's not really an indictment. I think if you look at 20 teams, that probably 14 to 16 of them you'd probably consider just average. Anybody can win any given week. I think Orlando City's still right there. We obviously got the big win last week. We got the benefit of a big call, the 8th minute of stoppage time or something like that.
Yep.
So we'll take that. I think most fans feel like we've been pro'd one too many times this year, and maybe we were due for one.
It's about time one fell our way.
Yeah. So this week I expect the back line, you're probably going to see Shea, Redding, Hines, and Alston again. Obviously, Rafael almost hurt himself and hurt his thigh or whatever his leg problem continues to be in the Cup game against Fort Lauderdale. You'll see Bendick in goal. I assume we're going to go back to the Higuita-Seren partnership. We really need to get those two clicking as Orlando City, if they can get those, keep Christian Higuita and Darwin Seren on the field at the same time, playing together week after week. As much as we've appreciated what Servando Carrasco has done this year, I still think the optimal lineup is Higuita and Seren playing at 100%. Up top, you're going to have Lairn, and then the attacking mids, we're probably going to see Molino, Kaká, and Vinter like we did last week, unless Molino doesn't. That suspension from Open Cup doesn't carry over, does it?
I have no idea, and I
wouldn't think so.
I would certainly hope not, but if he gets suspended, it was a well-deserved one.
Well, if for some reason Molino can't play, then you can just plug Rivas in there. But the optimal lineup would obviously be Molino, Kaká, and Vinter. I think you saw last week that Orlando City doesn't really have a problem scoring goals this year. It's they give up way too many. So this team, I said I tweeted after the game last week that I said, this team has way too much attacking talent to miss the playoffs. That won't be our problem. If we can ever get our defense in order, if we can ever play the same center back combination in back-to-back weeks, maybe we'll start to find that defensive rhythm. But for right now, we're a high-scoring team that gives up a lot of goals. It makes for entertaining games, but maybe frustrating. Don't you think, Sam?
Yeah, it can get really frustrating because we tend to just give up goals late, but that's stuff that all of us already know. The only place I have two concerns with your picks. My first concern is Tommy Redding. I don't know if he's going to be with the team. I know he's getting called up for the U20 USAs, so I'm not sure if he'll be back or if it'll be too close. I don't really know anything about the U20 stuff. I don't follow it other than for Redding. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you guys. So if Tommy's not there, then I think we see, Hines and Mateos. Connor Donovan was in the 18 last night, so I think he would be in the 18 as a bench player if Redding was away. The other place that I kind of disagree with, but I might get some grief for this, is I think we might see Baptista up top. We're going to play about 4 games in 2 weeks. Kyle Laren played a huge pile of minutes last night. I think he came on in the 70th minute. So if he played 70 to 90s 20, and then another 30, played about 65 minutes with all the stoppage time last night. So I think, we might see Baptista get the start and Laren off the bench instead of the usual other way around. So those are the only 2 places that I would disagree with you, Ron, and my reasons are stated. So, Renato, your turn now. Can you just tell us how Dallas has been? You can talk a little bit about their Open Cup if you'd want, and then their league play. I know that they're second in the West, only off by a point, and then that'd be like 10 points ahead of the leader in the East, and your starting 11 and your formation. So that's a lot, but
I know. Yeah, there's a little bit. We actually played Colorado yesterday with the Open Cup, and we ended up winning. We turned it around 2-1. So FC Dallas is doing quite well lately since the break of the Copa America. We've had 3 games, and we won them all. So mentally, I think we're pretty well. We're pretty okay. We're pretty ready for everything that can come. Well, as far as the starting 11 that we have Sites probably in goal. We've had all year like this big battle between Sites and our homegrown Jesse Gonzalez, but I believe Sites is going to go in goal. We got Matt back, Hedges. We got Zimmerman, center backs. We got Atiba Harris probably on the right, and on the left we have Figueroa. I would believe Mauro Diaz is still going to be in our number 10. Kellen Acosta is a defensive mid, great kid, man. He's still young. He's got so much to offer. Also, Carlos Grueso is coming back from Ecuador from playing the Copa America. And then Fabian Castillo on the left. And we got probably Barrios on the right. And up top, hopefully, Rudy. He scored a nice goal, actually, last night. So hopefully he's going to do much better. He hasn't scored in a while, so it's good to have him. I believe we have a pretty good defense. Tall guys, strong guys. I would really like to see how they match against your forwards. And the problem that we've had is not lack of scoring, but our number 9s have been very not scoring as many goals. We've had Diaz and Castillo doing the trick most of the time. So it's going to be exciting. We're playing at home, and usually July 4ths are packed. Everybody's there. Everybody just comes. We have nice fireworks after the game. So it's it's a big event, and I'm glad to have y'all. For the first time actually in Frisco. It's going to be a lot of fun. Actually, Shay is coming back for the first time, I believe, and I have one of the guys here at the podcast. He's kind of like his man crush. So it's always being in love with that guy, and he's been a great player. When he left for Stokes, and he didn't do so well, and then he kind of came back. So we'd like to see him how he does in here. He's a good player, man. I saw him play a couple games with y'all, and he's doing pretty well.
Well, you must have seen the couple games that I missed.
Well, the couple games that I saw, he actually scored. I think you guys played the Timbers, and he actually scored a nice goal. That's the last one I saw of him. So probably he's not doing very well. So yeah, all right.
Well, dude, we can talk about Breck Shea. I'm fine with that. I am okay with Breck Shea as a player if he's playing as an attacking player. But defensively, I don't buy that he, that Klingsman can wake up one morning and look at Breck Shea and say, "You are a left back." To me, that doesn't work. I think his defensive positioning is pretty bad. I think his one-on-one defensive match prowess, so to speak, is terrible. And he wants to get forward, and then he gets caught off not tracking back. I mean, Ron, is there anything that I missed that you would want to fill in about Breck Shea's defense? I kind of just threw the dude under the bus.
Well, Sam, you're more generous than I would be, to tell you the truth. I don't like him in an attacking position either. For most of last year and for the beginning of this year, I've always said, Shea has mouth-watering potential at left back. I mean, just to have a defender that can be that tall and that quick and that fast, and he can cross the ball pretty well. They're all the attributes that you could ever want in that position. My problem with Shea has always been that he thinks too much and he doesn't just play. I think in MLS you can get by on pretty much athleticism alone. I think you can exploit a lot of things in MLS, and I think he could be a player that could do that. But I think he thinks too much. And he doesn't just. I mean, his constant problem is hesitation. He doesn't know when to go. He doesn't know when to fall back. So he's constantly caught in this state of in between in his play. And I think a lot of that is he's thinking too much because he's playing defense and he's not real familiar or maybe comfortable with that position. But when I see him go into an attacking mid role and maybe that's more preferred position for him, I don't see as much production as we see from Adrian Venter or we see from Kevin Molina or we see from even Carlos Rivas. So he's a well-played player, a well-paid player, so he gets a lot of playing time. Heath seems to play him at left mid or left back regardless of the situation. So I think, at least for this year, he's our left back unless something happens, and we're just going to have to live with the goods and the bads that come with that.
Yeah. Well, I threw him under the bus pretty bad, and I stand by that. But I do want to give props where props are due. In last night's game, he played pretty good. He had lots of effort. Especially when we went to 10-10, he created some chances last night out of that role, and when you're 10v10, it kind of changes everything. So he wasn't stuck back there defending as much, and I thought he looked decent. So that's just my 2 cents.
One last thing, and we'll bury the hatchet on Shea is I've always said the thing with Shea is he can't just be one of the 11. He can't just be a role player for this team. With what he's paid, I've always said he needs to be a difference maker, and he's one of the reasons why Orlando City perhaps hasn't taken the next step in MLS is because a player like that, you need him to be a difference maker, and I don't feel like he's one of the 6 or 7 best players on the field for Orlando City on a weekly basis, and if that's going to be the case, then he's right now he's just a high-priced left back. So that's just my feelings.
Well, what's funny about all this is like Shea's always been that player that's supposed to be giving more. And when he was in Dallas, it was pretty much like that. He had one great year here, and after that, he went to Stoke. And in here, we never had him as a defensive player, except some very, very few occasions where we lacked depth. And he played as a center back, and he gave up a couple of goals that were ridiculous. So probably his defensive aspect of him is not that good. But man, it's kind of like I wish he was more of a mature player by now, I guess, in the aspect of, hey, man, you have to buy the type. You're the kind of player that should be able to do more than you do right now. And sadly, apparently he's not the same. I mean, he's the same as his time here in Dallas. So it's a good thing you guys have him. You can keep him.
I was getting ready to say you guys can take him back. You can send us Rudy or we don't need Rudy. You could send us.
There's tons of midfielders I'd take from FC Dallas.
I would love Diaz. I love Diaz. Diaz is
man. Diaz is great as long as he doesn't get hurt. That's the only thing I'm worried about, man. The problem with him is he's got I was reading that he's got some issues with the muscle grow, and whenever he plays in turf and places like that, he can get hurt pretty fast. So we're just like, if we play in turf, man, just do like Drogba, don't put him in because we kind of need him. He's a great player.
Yeah, the difference between him and Drogba, though, is he's like 10 years younger.
Yeah, and he probably doesn't get paid as much as he does. Actually, he's the 300s at this point, I believe. Mauro. So, I don't know Drogba. He's probably getting paid millions, but who knows?
All right. Well, with that said, we're weak in the back, and we have lots of attacking, and that's what the crux of our team is. The strong point is up front, the weak point is in the back. Even though, as Ron put it the other week, big man Joe Bendick has been solid. So, what's up with you guys? Are you more attacking, more defensive? How does it shake out in Dallas?
Well, we're pretty excited about our homegrowns. Personally, I'm a big fan of our homegrowns because we don't have to pay too much money for them, and they are actually responding. We have a great midfield. We have depth. We have our boy Jesse Gonzalez in goal. He actually had, he's got this big battle with Sites in there, which is great for the team, man, because nobody feels comfortable. Everybody has to keep, fighting for that spot. We also have our boy. I always keep forgetting his name. Kellen Acosta. He's 20 years old. Man, great. You can put him anywhere in the field. He kicks with left, right. Fights the ball, kicks to goal. So we're pretty excited about that. The only issue that we've been having, I would say, is either Rudy or our Canadian player right here, Tesha Akindele. It's not like they're bad. But, if you have a number 9 in there, they need to score. but we have so many options, and so it doesn't really feel like it. I guess for them to feel comfortable scoring, maybe that, but I think we're pretty well rounded at this point.
All right, and that's pretty much the show. So, Ron, you got any questions about Dallas?
Yeah, I have some questions about Dallas. First, okay. I want to say that if I really admire how Dallas approaches MLS, and they're probably the gold standard for the academy and growing players and keeping the payroll slim, but still competing at an extremely high level. While I'm a fan of FC Dallas in that way, I don't necessarily openly root for them to win. I don't particularly care, but I do admire how you guys go about your business, and I don't think Orlando City maybe will ever be that type of club, just because I think we'll probably spend more money than Dallas will. But it's worth noting that Dallas with the second smallest payroll in the league, and for the past couple of years they've been up near the top of the West. Also, with Dallas, I have a question. Do you guys think you'll be going for a striker in the window? I feel like if you guys got a top-notch number 9, you could be. You're already MLS contenders, but I think with a stud number 9, you guys are probably the biggest threat in the league.
Well, actually, there's been talks about that, and I believe our director said that we were going to get one. Nothing has been officially said at this point, but yes, there's been talks about getting a number 9, and we've been looking for that since the Mighty Mouse left. So we're kind of hoping that happens. I like our boys Tesho and Rudy, but I don't think Rudy is a number 9. I think he plays a little bit more behind a number 9.
Yeah, he's more underneath or a false 9 type player.
Yeah.
And do you guys have DP spots open?
That's a good question. I don't think we do.
You don't, or you do?
Do we have any DPs, designated players, available at this point? I don't. No, because the ones that we're gonna look into that at this point, but we do have Diaz as that. I think he's still considered a young designated player.
So that'd be one.
Castillo.
So that'd be 2.
I'm not sure if Rudy is one. I think Rudy was a really nice deal.
Nice guy from Portland.
Yeah.
All right.
But all in all, I think if we get that, it would be good. It would definitely help. And we've been selling players too, so the team is getting money. We just sold Sendejas to a Mexican team. I believe he went to Chivas. He went to Chivas. Yeah. Okay. So we're growing players. We're selling them. And it's pretty exciting, actually. But a lot of people have been complaining about the fact that we don't spend the money that New York, that Orlando does to get big names. I don't think we do. I love Kaká. Nothing against him. I love Baptista, but I wouldn't bring Baptista. How old is he? Like 40?
Dude, Baptista's been really good, actually. To be honest.
Has he? Dude.
Yeah, Baptista's been pretty good.
But you never know.
No, Torino hasn't though.
Yeah. Well.
Anyway.
But look at Pirlo, man.
Yeah.
This is not a league for him, I believe.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll conclude and we'll go to score predictions. I started the show off with Ron, so I'll let you give your score prediction first, Renato.
Score prediction. Hold on. I got a DPs in here. If you don't. Hold on. We got Diaz, Maxi, Acosta, and Castillo. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So you don't have room. All right.
Yeah. All right. So predictions. I think a 2-1 Dallas. I think you guys are gonna pressure us, and maybe it would be nice to see Shea scoring, to see how my boy Zoe reacts, and it probably look good for you guys, but it's gonna be a 2-1 Dallas.
All right, Ron.
Well, if you look at the record, FC Dallas is 6 wins, 0 losses, and 3 draws at home. They're extremely tough to beat at their place. Orlando City on the road were 1 win, 3 losses, 2 draws. So it would be hard to predict Orlando City to get a victory this week. I think you got to work. FC Dallas is a weird team. They can beat you 4-0, and then you can also beat them 4-0. It seems to go back and forth with them. They're either usually really, really good or sometimes really, really awful. So maybe Orlando City will get lucky and they catch them on an off day, but with FC Dallas, as good as they are at home, and with it being a big 4th of July night and probably a pretty packed house.
It's pretty hot in here, too.
Yeah, I see Dallas probably getting the victory, and it could be an off night. You know, we got our big win last week. We're probably due for a loss. I still only have 3 losses on the year, but we're probably due for one. So I'm thinking I wouldn't be surprised with a 3-1 Dallas scoreline.
All right.
Well, I'm liking the excitement of you guys.
Dallas, I think Dallas offers a lot going forward, and as we all know, we lack anything in the back. But we do offer a lot going forward too, and I know Dallas has a pretty consistent back line. With that said, I don't think we're going to stop their attack really at all. And whether they can stop our attack or not, I think, is actually the big question of the game. So if they stop our attack, then we all know how that goes. Personally, I don't think they're going to stop our attack. I think that we will probably have like a 2-2 draw would be my guess. I don't think we're ready to lose away. I think that we are just the masters of draws. So I'm just gonna pick a draw. Statistically speaking, I think that's the best and safest bet for Orlando this year. So that's Renato. Can you just please tell everybody your guys' Twitter handle and one last time and say goodbye?
Yes, sir. We are Dallas Diablos Radio. We're at Diablos Radio on Twitter. If you guys want to look us up, we're Dallas Diablos Radio on Facebook. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And thank you for having us one more time, man. Appreciate it.
Of course, anytime. And Ron, you can shout yourself out. I've been shouting you out the last couple weeks.
Yep, everybody knows we're City Soccer Talk. Our website's down right now, but maybe next week we'll get the podcast back going, so it's not just me and Sam every week. You can listen to somebody else. Just kidding, Sam. But yeah, Orlando City. It'd be nice to have a 2-game win streak, but it's going to be tough this week. But good news is it's a holiday Monday. Hopefully everybody's off and we'll get to watch an exciting soccer game.
All right, guys, that is all for our time, and we thank you for your time. Peace out.